Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Check This Game Out. My name is Jen, and today's game is Star Trek Online. Just in time for the 46th anniversary of Star Trek. Now, if you've never played Star Trek Online, and you like Star Trek, this is definitely a cool game to play. First of all, it's fully free to play, so you don't have to actually spend any money to play the game, which I really like. Now let's talk about the game real quick. There are 50 levels in the game, and it's about 10 levels per rank. So you can start out as an ensign, then you move on to lieutenant, then you get lieutenant commander, captain, rear admiral, lower half, rear admiral, upper half, and then finally vice admiral, which I have worked my way up to. Anyway, the questing works out like episodes. For instance, you work in a progression, or you can go back to quests that you've already completed and play them again if you want. For instance, if certain items drop in a certain quest that you like, or for visual purposes, you may want a certain type of phaser that looks a certain way, or a certain outfit that looks a certain way, and it only drops in a certain mission, you can go back and replay those and attempt to get those things. So, as you can see, I've reached level 50, and I haven't actually completed. There are actually still more questing here, and there are 2 sections I haven't even done yet. So you will probably reach max level before you finish questing, and they are always adding more quests to the game, which is fantastic. And of course the quests run like episodes. When you play a quest, you know, it works like an episode. And to keep this episode short, to keep this episode of Check This Game Out short, I probably won't run an episode. Plus I don't want to spoil it for anyone. It's pretty much you hail Starfleet, they give you the mission, you warp out to the location of the mission, and you perform the tasks that they set for you, which are normally neutralize enemies, or recover this item, or take this item here. You know, normal questing stuff. But it's not boring at all. The storylines that you run into are quite good, in my opinion. Alright, let's talk about items real quick. You can fully outfit you and your crew and even your ship with the items that you want. For instance, each individual gets a personal shield, body armor, weapons, and 4 useful slots. This is a frequency remodulator because I'm currently in Borg missions. So of course you want to remodulate the frequency of your weapons, because the Borg have a tendency to get used to what you're the frequency that you're shooting them with, as you may know if you're familiar with the Borg from the series. Now, my current ship is the USS Virginia. It is a Sovereign class, and the name you can choose yourself, and the NCC number you can choose yourself, and you can also choose how you want to outfit it with whatever items you want. There's also an auction house system in the game that's very useful. You can go to it and find items that people have crafted, and yes, there is crafting in the game. There's an entire sector or entire planet where you can go to do your major crafting if you like. So crafting is awesome. I'm not that much into crafting, but many people are. So this really caters to them, and I like that. And also the fact that it has an auction house where you can actually sell the things that you craft is really good. Now, the game is fully free to play, but it does have a store, of course, where you can go purchase different outfits. If you want a certain visual, you can purchase certain types of ships if you want. Let me see if I can get to the shipyard real quick, and we'll take a look at ships in that slight more detail. Now the graphics are quite good in my opinion. I like the graphics. It runs very well on my machine. Now you are in my current location is Starbase. I guess Starbase 1. It's in orbit of Earth. And here is where you can purchase more ships if you like. Now when you reach a new rank, you get a new ship for free. But you can always go back and purchase a ship that you may want. Now here's a nice old Constitution class for those who like the Kirk series. Kirk and Spock. Awesome. Very, very nice. Here's an NX type class. And you got your 1701A, the refit Constitution from the movies, from the original movies, which I really like. I've always liked to look at that ship. Escorts, science vessels. Another cruiser refit. Science vessels and Excelsior class. You're familiar with being USS Excelsior from, I believe, was it the third movie, I believe, where the transwarp drive failed, and also Sulu's ship when he was captain was an Excelsior class, or was the Excelsior. Heavy escort, exploration, which everyone should be familiar with, the Galaxy class. Awesome. Defiant class. If you're into those speedy little, you know, scouty type vessels. And of course the Voyager, or the Intrepid class, which the Voyager was. And you get the refits, which are just updated versions. And this is one I have, the Sovereign class, which I really like. Good firepower, good, you know, positions. And these here show you what type of officers you can have on your bridge. First you can have 2 tactical, 2 engineering, and 1 science. And these are the consoles you can have. For instance, these are the consoles. And, you know, you can have different ones. And each console does a certain thing, boosts a certain item. And here are shields. Of course, these have stats just like any other MMO. They will have stats just like, you know, a sword would have in a medieval fantasy MMO. Phasers, photon torpedoes, and the like. And you can change, if I can get over there, you can change the look of your ship at this location. Now you can randomize it if you like. This is the same ship, just a different look. So there's quite a bit of, you know, you can pretty much set your ship up to look very unique if you like. And you can even go advanced if you want. And I'm not going to say that. I just like the basic. I'm a pretty simple guy. And here you can change the name of your ship. This is another ship that I have, the USS Rosella, which is just a little shuttle pod. And sometimes some missions, some episodes or some missions require you to only have a shuttle pod, or to use the shuttle pod that comes from your ship. And here's my ship, of course, and you can buy more slots if you like, and of course you've got plenty of ship slots, so if you run out of that many ship slots, maybe you need some more, but I don't. Let's beam up to my ship. How about that? Yep. Beam me up. Loading. This is the number you see here is the percentage of how much it has loaded the next area that you're going to. And it can take a few moments depending on if it has to download new textures or something that's been updated or whatever. And here is my ship in space, in Earth orbit, no less. Again, the graphics are very nice. Let's go to sector. Yes, I'm going to go to sector space. Each area is divided into sectors. For instance, Earth is located in the Sirius sector. Loading, and of course this has to download a few new files. I haven't played the game in a while, so it has some updating to do. Once I reach level 50, my type of play sort of slowed down. And there's a soul system. And here's a map, and you can go to any of the systems that you want. Here is an enemy signal contact. Yes, let's plot a course to that sector. And flying is like traveling, as you would expect. And during some areas you will get a red alert, and you don't have to answer it if you want. Borg has been sighted in the Sirius sector block. Yeah, why not? Let's fight the Borg. Just an average day. Fighting the Borg, or whatnot. And I've warped into the sector. And this is a daily quest. And these are the rewards that you get. Now, let's... Oops, well, it's been completed, so... If you don't catch the red alerts quick enough, then other players will quickly complete it. So that one was, I believe, completed. Let's see if we can get to the Klingons. Negative 48. The negative 48 is the level. Since I'm in the Sirius sector, that means I'm pretty much in the starter area, which I out-level everything in the area. So these Klingons should not be an issue for me if they still exist, because of course other players. Yep, someone has already cleared this sector. I can explore if I like. This is just that's not an actual player ship or anything. It's just a piece of visual. And here is an enemy. Good. And your ship gets different abilities based on the type of crew you have, etc. First I'll do some beam boosting. I want to get nice and close just to see the ship. It probably won't. It's negative 48 levels, so it won't last very long.
Warning. Ship is under attack. Shields have failed.
And of course I love the computer sound. I'm not sure if it's Major Barrett or not. I think it is, but I'm not absolutely sure, of course. He is gone. Nice little explosion. And I was so close to the explosion, I took a bit of damage from the explosion, which is always not fun. Anyway, it's a bit of the combat. It's not complicated. It's quite easy to get into. Yes, I want to go back to sector. And there is PvP, but of course I'm not that good at PvP, so I don't PvP. And for those theory crafters, there, you know, you can min-max if you like. Nothing wrong with that if that's what you're into. And of course there are the iconic systems that you'll find, like Vulcan and Romulus and Remus, and you'll have to fight the Romulans and the Klingons, of course, and pretty much anyone you can think of. It's quite fun. So anyway, as for a first checkout of the game, I'll end it here, and I don't want to patrol the system. So this is Star Trek Online. It is a fully free-to-play game. It's an awesome MMO to get into if you really like sci-fi, if you really like Star Trek. I highly suggest you check it out. And this has been Jen, and this has been another edition of Check This Game Out. Thank you for watching.